is an example of the sort of things that I think about when I'm walking along at night. Because I just made it up to past all the walking parts of the hill, and I'm up onto the fairly level part for a while. I'm going to walk down this main drag up here a couple blocks and then make a right-hand turn. So I'm going up here to the main street turner. It's not really main. And then I'm going to make a left. And then after a couple blocks, I'm going to make a right onto 7th. Because even though I start on 7th, at the bottom of the hill, when you go up 7th Street, after you go up the big hill, it actually connects to 10th now. And to get to 7th, you have to go downward. It takes 3 blocks to go up 125 feet. Not very far. Hokey smokes. But yeah, the things I think about is, it's very, very cold. And I am, in many parts of my body, very unpleasantly cold right now. But I have the front of my shirt unbuttoned except for one button, so that the wind can get in and drag out all my warm air. Now, why would I do that if I'm freezing? Well, because at the same time I'm freezing, I'll continue in a moment, it's just with this terrible microphone on top, if I'm going to, compete with a loud car for the microphone's attention, I'm going to lose. Especially since, for you people to be able to hear me, I have to run each file through a volume embiggener, and I just set it to increase the volume by 25 decibels. And so that's why the sound on these things sounds a little weird, because it's going straight from the camera to the free volumizer, where it adds, well, it doesn't add, but it increases all the sound waves by 25 decibels, so that every sound is increased, not just my voice. Luckily, it's such a low quality microphone that it doesn't pick up much more than my voice and my feet and just other loud sounds. Oh gosh, but yeah, because even though, I'm freezing in many parts of my body, I've got the front part of my shirt open, and I'm thinking of unbuttoning my shirt sleeves, because while I'm freezing in many parts of my body, and I'm undoing my cuffs so that my sleeves will be open, so I can vent more warm air. Because even as I'm trying to stay warm, because it's very cold, my hands are freezing, my back is really cold, my front is cold, At the same time, my arms are sweating. The very center of my body feels unpleasantly warm because I got this coat on. Oh wow. They must have, they got a bug zapper over there. That's what that sound was. I have one of those bug zappers that's like in the shape of a tennis racket. You turn it on, swing it at the bug, and then when they hit the wires and stuff, the electricity from a 9-volt battery just fries them. Rather amazing. I say I don't use it. I don't like to kill bugs. If I can get them out the door, then I prefer that. I don't like green flies. I think they're disgusting and repulsive. And so what I do is I capture them and then I throw them out the door. There's a big noise from the darkness in the yard next to me, but I'm not going to look. Because if it's a tweaker, I don't want them to go, gosh, that guy saw me. and then have to be taken care of. I'm just a guy out on a walk. I don't want any trouble. My legs hurt. I need to walk. Yeah, my legs are feeling really good right now. I'm using them again. They're actually stretching and being used and feeling good. I just do not like sitting in chairs or, well, yeah, not being used. Even getting up and walking. Because I always would, I mean not always, but I would pace my room like a caged bear periodically because of the way my legs feel. Now that I'm up and walking, oh, my legs feel so good. Tired? Because, you know, I've been walking non-stop since I got out here. And that's, you know, it's about 5 miles now. So, my legs are a little tired, especially after not having gone walking for 2 days. But yeah, so parts of my body are unpleasantly cold, parts of my body are just unpleasantly warm. So, but I was just thinking about what happens if you're lost and you need to take care of yourself, because one of the things I've been watching on these survival things, because I often worry, you know, it's like if I got lost, what would happen out in the wild? One of the things you have to do is get warm. You have to think almost immediately how to keep yourself warm. Don't wait. One of the things to do is to take leaves, handfuls of dry leaves. Oh, the light just came on. And stuff those inside of your clothing. They said it's not going to be comfortable. And you're going to have to get used to the idea of having company. Because, boy, there's going to be bugs galore. But which is worse? Freezing to death? You know? Suffering from hypothermia and dying of cold? Or having bugs in your clothing and living through the night? Well, obviously, having bugs in your clothing and crawling against your flesh and in your hair and all that is much more, oh gosh, what's the word? I've forgotten what the word is, but you know, where you're in comparison, and it's the winner. You know, but in comparison between the two, dying of hypothermia or crawling with bugs, dying of hypothermia is much, much worse. So I was just trying to think of how I would do that. Now I'm going to wait until the car goes by. Or makes that turn behind me. So I was just thinking, because I don't like bugs and creepy crawlies and all that. But also, I don't want to freeze to death. So if I was lost, or knew I was going to be lost, I think one of the first things I would do, got a burp. Well, I mean, I wouldn't burp, but is to start gathering leaves, and then making sure that the leaves were as insect-free as they could be, and then stuffing each insect-free leaf into my clothing. Or take the ones that are most insect-free and put them between me and my clothing. And then the more, you know, crumbly or suspect it gets, the more toward the outer, you know, just between your shirt and your coat instead of between your shirt and your skin, to minimize the amount of possible creepy crawly contact. I mean, sure, the bugs just are looking for a place to stay and not die too, but my needs override theirs. Largely through might makes right, not for any other reason. Now, this is Euclid. My home is on Euclid. and I am now on Euclid, but I took a left instead of a right. Because I need to walk more. This is the path I usually take, but I've been 10 minutes now, so I will see you all in just a moment. And I'm back. I still have 2 blinky bars of power. I had charged the battery just before picking it up and coming on my walk. But yeah, that is what I would do with leaves if I was able to think clearly. Now if I was lost in the woods, I would be in trouble. I mean, I require certain amounts of meds, and without them, I am in bad shape. You know, if I don't have my restless leg medication, I'm not going to be able to lie down. And as it gets bad, I'm not going to be able to sit or stand either. Now, you may notice that doesn't leave a whole lot of positions. If you cannot lie down, stand, or sit, there's not much else you can do. And yeah, that's the problem. I have restless leg that is unable to go away when all the meds leave. So that's fun. So I would have massive panic from my restless leg. On top of that, of course, I would be withdrawing from methadone. Wouldn't be much, you know, just 20 milligrams, but I take 20 milligrams daily. I don't know if I'm dependent, but boy, and especially though, the big one, after just 2 or 3 days without cannabis, I wouldn't be able to take care of myself in the wild. I would be hurting too much. I wouldn't be able to gather things with my hands. I wouldn't be able to get up if I fell because everything would hurt too much. I would be dead within a few days. It would start off good, and then as the meds left my body, I would go rather rapidly downhill. And it's kind of humbling to realize that without certain constant things, you would be so badly hosed. I mean, I'm not dependent on any medication right now to keep me alive. I take very low doses of this one blood pressure medication, but it's not for blood pressure, and especially in the doses that I take, it's not. Because my blood pressure on its own is like 113/60. Any lower than that, and I'm going to faint every time I stand up. But the very low doses of this particular medication, it helps your kidneys function better. And right now, after the beating I gave my kidneys as my wife was dying, they're not in good shape yet. They're getting better, slowly, but they're not in good shape yet. So I take the med to help them work better. Because I do not want to kill my kidneys, because I don't want to die yet. Pardon me. Yeah, there's just so much where without meds, you know, you realize that you wouldn't be around. I mean, if there was a zombie apocalypse, as much as I would, you know, like to think, gosh, you know, would I be able to survive? I might, extreme emphasis on might, be a survivor for a day. I mean, the possibility isn't even big there. When I panic, I lose my mind. I discovered that a long time ago. In the mid-90s, I had a fire in my home when I was an active alcoholic. So who knows, maybe things have changed since then. But in the mid-90s, we had a fire in my bedroom. You know, I was with a friend in the living room of the house we were in. And we were just talking, and then we noticed that there was a bad smell. And then we saw smoke pouring out from around my door jamb. I, of course, like an idiot, threw the door open. At which point, it goes boom, and it exploded into flame. So my entire bedroom was just filled with fire. I immediately kept my mind, ran into the kitchen, into the utility room, grabbed the fire extinguisher, ran back out, and it was dead completely. Checked the date, it had been last inspected in 1979. At which point, faced with the house on fire and a broken thing, I lost my mind. I panicked. Even as I saw myself doing it, I was unable to stop myself. But I ran outside of the house, and I found myself, to my shame, running in circles, large circles, in the yard, going, ooh, ooh. And oh my God, how thoroughly embarrassing. My other friend was the one that had to call 911 while I was in the front yard, out of my mind. But they came and put out the fire. I had to stay in another place for a while, and then I moved from that room to a different room. But it was exciting. But I know what happens when I panic, at least as an active alcoholic, because that's back when I was an active alcoholic. Now that I'm sober and smoking cannabis and suffering from all the things that I do, I don't know what would happen if I panicked, or placed in a situation where do you panic or do you not? So I don't know. I'll have to hopefully not be placed in that position again. Because that was not fun, especially later on when the fire marshal just laid into the three of us who were renting the house on the front yard, just calling us everything but wastes of human flesh, because, you know, the house, inside of the house had been a pig sty. I was an active alcoholic, and my death spiral had begun. So the bottom half of the house where we were was not altogether that clean. And when the fire people came in, and especially saw the state of the room where I had been staying, he flipped his lid. Because, you know, that was endangering the lives of his firefighters. And I don't blame him. But, yeah, so we were publicly shamed out in front of our house because of a fire. And that was exciting. So yeah, that was a fun time. I'm terrified of fire, and I don't want to burn, ever. That would be bad. Probably the worst. But life is life. I mean, all I have to do is make sure that I don't get so sick I end up hospitalized. Because if I ever end up hospitalized, I am hosed. Because I won't be able to get cannabis in the hospital unless I can get people to visit me with edibles. Otherwise, I won't be able to get cannabis, and I will be hosed. But such is life, isn't it? I just gotta make sure I don't get hospitalized. Because if I'm hospitalized for a week or more, I'm going to be not a basket case, but if it stretches out too far, I'm going to be hurting so bad I don't know what I'm going to do. Plus, I mean, I don't even know who would be able to come and get me. So I'd be left standing out on the street by myself. You know, 25 miles away from home, lost and alone, hurting and unable to really walk. That would suck. Man, I don't even want to think about that, because that would be so bad. Well, I'm in just about 10 minutes, so I'm going to call this file and start the next one. So here we go. Hopefully I can get the button first thing.